Not allowed to do YouTube videos on the weekend. I can leave it. Hey, everybody's in the house. Whole bunch of y'all. All right. John, Consuela, Celeste, Carla, Justin. But you gotta earn the privilege. Ooh, what privilege you gotta earn, Justin? What privilege? Nicole Borsey. Hey, Nicole, what's going on, girl? Heaven, Lori. Happy Father's Day. Happy Father's Day. My goodness. You know what? Happy Father's Day to gay couples, alternative lifestyle couples, who Heavenly Father gave them just enough love. Taking abandoned children. Children didn't have a father. Thank you. Thank you. Happy Father's Day. Happy Father's Day. All right. That. Who calling me? Oh, that's my son. That's my, what my son called. I can't answer the phone. Dang it. I'm gonna answer. I can't answer the phone. My son. I can't answer the phone. I know y'all ready to talk. Hold on. Why people call me? Hello? 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 Hey, what's going on? I'm live, by the way. I don't know if you know this. I'm live, so. How can I help you, sir? My youngest son. How can I help you? What are we doing for fill in the blank? Use your words. Daddy didn't tell you to use your words, son. Use your words. All right, I'm giving you a hard time. I know they won't play a game. This is gonna be quick, y'all. Listen, we're gonna do this quick, and I'll call you back. Okay? All right. Love you. Bye bye. That's my youngest son. Oh man, I'm about to party. Y'all don't understand this. You don't understand this. Y'all, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something real quick. I graduated. My middle guy. We had his graduation ceremony. Let me turn this music. Talk music. We had the graduation ceremony. Thursday? Thursday. Ride on that damn bus. Oh gosh, we need to follow the bus companies and upgrade buses that have been upgraded in 40 freaking years. But I graduated my middle son. That felt good. Oh, that felt good too. And I had to hustle too because I was late for the ceremony. Why was I late? Oh, I had to get chairs. Right, I was on my way. I had to stop and get chairs for Grandpa on his mama's side and Grandmama and my mother because they didn't have chairs. They showed up late to the ceremony, so I was late. But you know, no, there's no coincidence. There's no coincidence. I pulled up right behind them just in time. I didn't get good parking. I had bad parking. I pulled up, parked on the side of the road, double park, whatever, J park. Is J parking a thing? I don't know. It was wrong. I don't know. I don't care. I was so rushing. I left the car on the electric car, left it running, ran, got the chairs out the trunk, ran to the ceremony. It was half a mile to get to the damn stadium, the back of the ceremony, and magically got up just behind them just to hear my son walk across the stage. And I was like, whoa! Because that's what I do. That's what I do. I don't get embarrassed. I love my kids to death. And it just felt good to hear his name walked across the stage. That's my last son, though. I got one more. 4 more years, I'm gonna be a hermit somewhere. I'm gonna give me a tiny house in a greenhouse or a cob house somewhere. I'm done. I'm out. I'm gone. Minimalist lifestyle. But I gotta get them through. Anyway, happy Father's Day, everybody. I think YouTube is back up. We'll talk about father privilege. There we go. YouTube is going. How come the comments aren't showing? I had a great father. And to be honest with you, I wasn't going to do a video today. I was not going to do one. And I might cut it short. To be perfectly honest with you, I ain't going to lie to you. I'm still bothered by my father's death. I still am. It's 3 years. 3 years. I still ain't right. Not sure I'm strong enough to even do this. So I'm going to spend time talking about not my father, but just fathering in general. But if I got to go early, I'm going to go early. Because that's just how it is. That man was a good man. I watched him do some amazing things. I watched him love people that didn't deserve an ounce of love. Oh my gosh, didn't deserve an ounce of love. And he loved them to death. A lot of them on my friends list. I don't blow no names up or anything, but people are just people. And what I think about now is I try to think about, why was he my father? Right? Not what he did, not what he said, but why was he my father? This phone so we can have a conversation in a different spot. I don't want this bad thing to fall. Why was he my father? I mean, he taught a lot of good lessons. You ever ask yourself that? Why was your father your father? Not what they tried to teach you from a human perspective, but why was this particular spiritual creature in a meat suit your father? What was the overlying message? I mean, mine, I guess I have to be honest, I have to tell you that it was love people. It was love people. It was don't judge anyone. Put yourself in other people's shoes. You never know what people are going through. Give them the shirt off your back. Always be kind to people, even if they're not kind to you. Even if they're not kind to you. I watched people be unkind to my father my whole life. And he just shake it right off and just be him. Like, we're supposed to be used, is what he taught me. We're supposed to be used. We are here to be used. We are part of an ecosystem. And I'm not even sure he understood this message completely, or maybe he did and he just didn't want to fill in the blanks for me. We are an ecosystem on this planet. And what do ecosystems do? They share. They use each other. Microbiology uses this microbiology. This animal uses this animal. For the greater good of the whole. And sometimes there's no profit in being used. Sometimes you have to be used short of abuse because it helps the whole if you're an ecosystem. And that's kind of what he taught me. And I didn't really understand it till he was gone. He was gone. Like, it didn't really process. And maybe it's just me, or maybe you have a similar experience that you weren't really processing the full depth of what one of your parents or grandparents, or why they were your parent and what they were there to teach you. And then it's a privilege to be a father. It's a privilege to be a father. Oh my goodness. I tell you what, I'm the silliest person I know. I'm the goofiest person I know. And my father was corny and goofy and silly too, and I didn't know why. It was kind of embarrassing, to be honest with you. But being a father, loving your kids, it tends to make you that way. It tends to make you that way. You tend to do the things to make your kids happy. You try to do those things. You try to do the things to make them laugh, and it just gives you that corny persona. Something like that. But it also gives you unconditional love. Like, it's a teaching thing. I was thinking about this, like, what is a father's creed? Father's creed. I think a father's creed is to be a spiritual being brought here in a human suit, a human meat suit, to learn unconditional love from 1, 2, or 3 children. I had three boys. Some of y'all 8. Some of y'all don't want to stop. Some of y'all still going. But I think that you learn unconditional love. And then you see that in other children. And this is the powerful part, I think. You learn unconditional love for a creature that, like, from the moment you're holding them, you realize their whole life is in your hands. Most of the things they're going to learn from you. And most of the things that are going to set them out are going to come from you. And it's an amazingly humbling thing. But they teach you an unconditional love, a completely selfless love for another creature. They can do no wrong. My kids can't do any wrong. They can disobey me, they can annoy me, but they can't do any wrong. Imagine if we took that love and we saw in every children's eye our children. Imagine if it actually takes a village to raise a child. Imagine if it takes a planet to raise the next generation. And I think that's one of the other things he taught me, is that we learn these things as fathers and mothers too. Not just for us, not just for them, not for some selfish need to provide for one or two or three, but that all of those other innocent babies, all of those other children that are brought onto this planet, all deserve the same type of love. And a lot of them don't get a drop of it. And I think that's the crime. I do. I think we should be fathering the planet. I think that's why we have children, to teach us unconditional love, so we can apply that across all children. I think that's their message. I think that's the parenting creed. So I asked a couple of questions about what did your father teach you. A lot of people had a lot of good quotes and comments based in old wise things, right? Like a parent, father, mother. They're conduits to the past, right? They're conduits to the longest social, clinical trial study, engineering trial study in the human race, right? Like that's how we handed things down through our parents. That's who taught us where to go, where not to go, what to do, what not to do. The simple sayings that kind of encompass a lot of things. Kids of the world need our love. Lori, the kids of the world need our love. They need Saturn's love. They need Mars's love. They need a whole planet. They need a whole solar system full of love. Because there's nothing more innocent than a child. There's nothing more innocent. That's why I'm saying being a parent is such a privilege. To take one of these creatures sent to this really jacked up planet with some really jacked up societies and see the innocence in their eyes and let it change you. Let it change. Like I say all the time, it's like my kids, they raised me more than I raised them. I only started probably to discover part of who I was after the first ones were born. Happy Father's Day all across. The homeless crowd at the end of my street are getting angrier and more violent, even if just getting in your face. I'm not sure what that's about, Dee Dee, but homeless people are supposed to be angry. Just like those abused by their fathers. Just like those who probably didn't have fathers, right? They're supposed to be angry. And that's what I'm saying when I say that I'm privileged, I'm father privileged. I can't judge other people because I'm not angry. I wasn't given a life for anger. Like one of my sisters on there posted about Father's Day it's a hard day if your father used you like a sex toy. You say stuff like that, it gets you upset. But I think the thing that you have to really think about is not just in what they did, but what can turn somebody into a creature, a monster that would abuse this little girl? Like what sort of evil, what does a person actually have to go through to become that horrible? And I don't know. I can't even fathom that. I can't fathom dealing with that, going through that, or doing that. And so I think that empathy is what's needed, right? We need to understand that we never really know what anybody's going through. Somebody comes to you for help, you're just supposed to help them. Somebody comes to you with a need, so you're just supposed to supply that need. Because you never know what anybody's going through. And most of these things are so private, nobody would ever tell you. You wouldn't even know. I mean, have a lot of my friends, that are female that had some rough parenting, they give indicators that things weren't right, but it's just such deep trauma, they won't go into it. That's why the other thing I'll say that I'm fatherly privileged is that my father only used his strength for his family. He never used his strength against his family. His strength was for the family, and that's where I get it from. A man has a stronger stature for the family. Never, under any circumstances, is a man supposed to use his strength against his family. Ever. That's why I can't judge anybody. I'm a good person, nothing like that. I can't judge anybody. I haven't gone through the things that people have been through. No, Maha said, Gerard, you are a blessing. I'm not sure I even know what that is, Maha. I know I was blessed. I know that. I know I was blessed by inhuman parents that I didn't deserve. I know that. And I'm trying to do my best and return that blessing where I can, how I can, and share what I can. My father hasn't been in my life since I was 5, and I'm 33 now. I've been better without him because he's a deadbeat and a junkie. And Shaka, when I look at stuff like that, I'm not sure if you're a father, Shaka. If you are, happy Father's Day. Try to be an upgrade. Like, we never even know the maturity level or the trauma level of parents who are absent. But I have nothing but respect. Nothing but the greatest respect for parents who've been through and they had to figure it out on their own. You know what I mean? They had to figure it out on their own. But also to that point, Shaka, and he said he's not a father. To that point is we live in a world where this is okay. We live in a world where being a deadbeat is popular. We live in a world where being a junkie is popular. We live in a world where junkies don't even have to exist. Right? Like, the problem isn't the drugs. The problem is the pharmaceutical industry plays. I'm not really even trying to turn this into any kind of a political thing, but we can learn from our mistakes. And we're not. Most people who are strung out on drugs has a lot to do with trauma, has a lot to do with the artificial scarcity that's legislated throughout these various societies. And drugs are that escape, like alcohol. And if you're the wrong person, you can't deal with it. So I like to try to solve problems at the root, Shaka. Everything tends to come back to leaving people alone. Everything tends to come back to, if you had a society that valued people, you wouldn't have a society with people who have valueless ideas about their children. I'm sorry that you went through that. I am sorry. And I don't have anything to say to anybody that didn't have good parenting. I have no idea what it's like. But I know it's my job and it's my obligation to look out for my cousins the best way that I can. And to take the privilege that I have and try to change what I can. I always check in with the homeless community locally. And I'm glad that you do, Dee Dee. You have a big heart. People don't really know that a lot of single moms and single fathers are homeless, and they're homeless because they're trying to parent. Sure, they could have left their kids. They could have walked away. They could have lived lives, but they struggle to be parents. They struggle to raise the next generation, and that put them in extreme financial despair. They've lost houses. They lost cars, or they live in cars. They live in halfway homes. I think about that movie. What's the name of that movie? Pursuit of Happiness. I can't watch that movie without tearing up. You know, parents sleeping in a subway with their child because they live in a society that is so apathetically indifferent to the value of a child in parenting that it couldn't give two damns. And it lets parents with children sleep on the street and in subways. It doesn't care. Of course, when it's time for war, oh my goodness, they've got money for F-35 Raptors, M1A1s, M1A2s. They can bomb and kill and murder children all over this planet all day long. You can't lift a damn finger for their own citizens. And that's why I'm saying I don't do politics. People don't really get it. But if you have a government that doesn't ever value what's important, why do you call it your government? We learn empathy from our terrible struggles. We do. We absolutely do, Lori. And I think we also learn empathy from our triumphs, not just the struggles and the terrible ones, but the fantastic ones. You know, yes, Jane, the father's strength is only to protect. Same with the husband. That's his only reason for having strength, is to protect. That's it. Especially regarding health issues and substance abuse issues. Let me see. Let me get down to the bottom, way down in the comments. Without the darkness, we have no light. This is true, Lori. I mean, we had to have bad examples, right? Like, that's how we figure out what we're supposed to do, is finding out what we're not supposed to do. And I appreciate the courageous people who actually explain the abuses that they've been through. We're brave enough to come out and tell us that there are children being raised in environments that are horrific. You know, I had no idea that abuse was so prolific. What do we do about it? We outsource it. We outsource parenting. We outsource the care of the next generation. The government. Government that on a regular occasion has no issue bombing families all over this planet. How smart could that be? We outsource. What if we took that love for being parents and applied it to all children? What if we raised the bar, and the bottom bar as a father or as a mother was, if somebody wants to lead, the bare minimum, the absolute bare minimum requirement, the prerequisite before you even get our ear, is you're not killing children. How many people would run for government then? How many people would stay in government then? My father was kind, caring person that loved all, and I honor that. I became him. And I think that's the greatest honor, isn't it, Augustine? When you become them, when you look at those powerful things about them, not the bad things. Parents do bad things, parents slip up, they're just human. But I think there's a greater power that's in control of things, and I think that that greater power tends to drive the parenting more. And so, you know, the older I get and the further I get away from that, you know, having a father thing, I only think about the powerful things that he said, the powerful things that he did, the good things that who knows where they might have come from. And I think about, well, how can would it be useless if I didn't take consolidated some of the lessons learned and applied them in my life to be an upgrade of what he struggled to give me? Absolutely. I want to honor my father. I want to honor my grandfather. I want to honor my mother. Whether they are good or bad, our parents are great teachers. Yes, aren't they, Sharon? And this is what I'm saying. Like, it's not really about what they did as much as what we learned. Like, when I say why were they your parent, it's not about if they were good parents, but what did you learn? Did you become an upgrade? Even if they were abusive, How did it make you better? How did it make your parenting better than theirs? What did you learn from it? And I think that's the power of just looking at what did you learn from having that person as your parent and applying it to your life instead of like letting it take you into the victimhood space, but taking you into the empowered space. And this is something we should, because a lot of parents, like somebody commented a little while ago, a lot of parents were great teachers in what you should never do to a child or in the presence of a child. Be better, do better, love yourself, and know you are now and have always been worthy of all the love. Amen, Lord. Be better, do better, and love yourself. Love yourself. And know you are now and always have been worthy of all love. Imagine if we put more effort, Lori, into making sure all children had all love. What would the world look like? What would the world look like if we parented children in Yemen? What would the world look like if we parented children in the ghettos? What would the world look like if we parented children in the barrios? What would the world look like if we parented children in the trailer parks? What would the world look like if we actually, for once, the first generation that actually gave two damns about what these God things, about what these scriptures and these books tell us? What if we actually believe that it would be better for someone who hurt a child to have a millstone hung around their neck and cast into the depths of the sea? What if we actually believe that? What if we applied that to government? What if we applied that to leaders? What if we applied that to ourselves and the projects and the political parties and the things that we support that kill children? Imagine that. Imagine if you saw your children in the face of those they hurt the most. Imagine what we could make the world if we actually became upgrades and we learned from being parents and having parents who taught us various lessons. We never stop learning, Lori, and we should never stop learning. We should always be moving forward. We should always be trying to figure out what we don't know and reapplying that to the current world to make the world better. Not for us, but for children. It should be self-sacrificing, right? The ecosystem should be greater than us. It should be greater than our group. It should be greater than what we want. We need to I think we got to really take a lot of the I out of living. Maybe not what parenting teaches you is that you no longer live for yourself. You're living for other creatures that are part of an ecosystem, and creatures that don't do well if you don't leave them a decent ecosystem. I seen my dad once about 10 years ago, and I almost fought him in the front yard. He called my sister to come get me because he didn't want me around. Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that, brother. That's crazy. That's crazy. But some people don't get it. Some people will never get it. But what I try to do, I'm definitely not preaching to you, brother. When I go through crazy situations that just don't make any sense to me, when I'm dealing with adversity, what I attempt to do, it doesn't always work. But I pretend I'm in this simulation that this thing called God made. And that in every encounter I have, it's trying to teach me something. And I try to focus on what am I supposed to be learning from this particular situation? Not necessarily what is the other person, because what am I supposed to be learning from it? And how do I take that and empower myself? Somebody once, I think my brother said that to me once. I was going through a rough time, and he said, think about what God wants you to learn through this situation. I'm not sure if that helps you, but something to think about. It sounds like you're a little more of a man than your father is, and that he can learn from you. And maybe you're the one that's supposed to teach him. I don't know. We don't need politicians anymore. Brother Robert, I don't think we ever needed them. We don't need them anymore. I don't think we ever needed them. I think this whole idea of outsourcing parenting, outsourcing love, outsourcing empathy and compassion to those who are paid to do it is probably about the dumbest thing we've ever done since the beginning of time. I think the next generation needs parents to look out for them. They need parents from all different sectors, all different religions, and all different classes and different countries, because the children. It doesn't need to be outsourced like a business, right? Care packages and aid and toppling nations and fighting tyrants. We got to take the greed out of parenting the world. We got to take greed out of being stewards to the planet. That's what I think. Food, not bombs. Imagine that, Jane, if we bombed for food. Imagine if we bombed food. That's what would happen if you put parents in charge. But I don't think anyone needs to really be in charge. I think we just need to step up and be the people we're supposed to be and stop being the people that television tells us to be. Kids blame themselves when parents are abusive. They do, Lori, it's that psychological thing. I won't claim to you I understand, but they do. And the same way an abusive wife blames herself. You know, we live in a world, somebody said something earlier, said, what her grandfather said is never use a bank. We know why human conflict is there, because banks want to make money and big corporations want to sell things. Imagine if people never used banks. Would violence even exist? Would abuse still be a thing if banks didn't actually, if you didn't have groups and organizations that thrived off of human conflict on the local and the national level? Would violence even still exist anymore? We have to unlearn that. Yes, we have to unlearn violence. We got to unlearn blaming yourself for what others and environment did to you. You should always raise the bar, except limbo. Right, Cindy? Always raise the bar. Always. Generation to generation, keep moving forward. I did, but then they told my kid to catch HIV to get housing. I'm not even gonna. I just can't even go there. The insanity behind that comment, the evil little world, the evil little society we live in. We can change it, but people have to find that love. They have to dig deep. They have to think about, do you really want to hand this to the next generation? Do you really want to hand this psychopathic, unparenting, ungoverning model to the next generation? I think that, but I'm only one person. My stepdaughter just called, warms my hugs. I love her just the same. That's so important, Danny. I appreciate you being that. You know, a lot of people don't want to be step parents, and a lot of kids need step parents. They need people to step in and step up and to take on the privilege, those privileged to see the ledge, those privy to the ledge that children fall over and nobody steps up. It takes a village. I love those Native American moments when the kids from the other societies are embraced and raised within the tribe. We lost a lot from the past, haven't we, both found? We lost a lot in terms of caring for our tribes and raising all the kids as a tribe, and we just focus on raising our kids, helping our kids. In fact, it's changed so much now. We want to help our kids into college and help them with their grades and help them so much in the great jobs where they're in conflict with the other children. They're in financial and economic conflict as opposed to working together. And I'm not going to say I know a whole lot about Native American tribes, but I would ask that question. You know, going back, in fact, with all tribes, you know, would a tribe raise children to be in conflict with each other, or children that work together? Children that struggle to be better than the other one, to have a higher salary, a better retirement, a bigger car, a better house? Or would the tribes, or did the tribes raise children to work together, to become strong together, This is why we're so backwards. And America is not a tribe. America is an insane asylum. It's an insane asylum where you raise children in conflict with each other, and we think that that's going to end well. We can't figure out why the gangs do what gangs do. We can't figure out why the children do why the children fight police, why they're white nationalists, why there are Bloods and Crips. We have no idea why we, a violent-based society, violent parents with violent parenting, raise violent children. Boggles my mind. I think we could certainly look back and see greater things in the past than the bull that the kids got to struggle through today. I love the life with my kids. Nothing even mattered to me more than them. And to provide a happy home, which we have. That's all that matters. But that is a very powerful statement. But can we like apply that a little wider? Can we take that love and that happy home and apply it to a state, community, a nation, an earth? Like, I think that your kids are so lucky to have you, amazingly lucky to have you. Can we take you and replicate you and use you for the benefit of other children too? I saw a little boy walking with his dad hand in hand, talking and laughing this morning. I told him, Happy Father's Day. Imagine that. Wishing other people you don't know Happy Father's Day. Imagine that. Imagine if we had that type of love. Learning invokes change in our thoughts, actions, etc. We quit learning, we quit changing. Life is about change. We stop learning, we die. Yes, Joe. And not only that, but doesn't our brain shut down? Like, the brain is designed to learn. It's constantly learning and changing and creating new dendrite connections and creating more neurons. But when you stop learning, it starts dying. Have we stopped evolving? Have we made anything better for children in the last, 1,000 years? Is it any better? I know a lot of statistics I see say it's better. Have we made life on Earth better for children, or have we just shifted the pain from our society, our Elysium, and pushed a lot of that pain and devastation over to other areas? Our society does not support strong families. No, Lori, our society quite literally breaks down the family. Our society really makes money destroying families. It quite literally allows corporations to thrive on them. It takes away people's freedoms and rights and the parents' ability to provide. That's why we have so many homeless parents. That's why we have so many problems in our society. We've outsourced parenting and love of the next generation to politics. Still, we got here. I try to keep the comments, but I didn't mean to be on here, and I didn't mean to stay long. I don't want to stay long. I just wanted to say Happy Father's Day to all the fathers, all the mothers that are fathers, and all the people who are stepping in the cut as stepfathers to children who have them. That's what we're supposed to do. I agree, Gerard. We are the most propagandized society. We can unlearn the reality that is proscribed for us. Yeah, it's a fake reality, isn't it, Jane? It's a fake, sick, weird reality where we as adults are supposed to focus more on what we want than what children need. I can't end well at all. I have nothing but a whole lot of guilt, Jane, that I have a warm bed to lay in at night and a pillow under my head. And there are a lot of children that are sleeping on rocks, a lot of children that are sleeping on sidewalks. Like, to me, it's completely unacceptable. But only we can change it. We can't outsource it to politics. Politicians, they obviously don't want to change it. They obviously make money not to change it. They make money from corporations that actually make money on that. Housing prices going up. They get money from corporations that are charging more for food so people can't have it. This is why I'm not interested in the, what do they call it? living wage. Not interested in a living wage because why are prices high? Prices are high because we buy a lot of trash that we don't need. We're consumers, and the more you consume, the higher the prices go. The bigger the house we need, the faster the car, the nicer phone, it pushes prices up to a point where people with the least can't afford them. We can fix that. We don't need a living wage. We just need to stop buying their crap. That really is what does it. Like, why would we be upset with Amazon if we keep buying from Amazon? Why would we be upset that food prices go up and we keep buying $4 heirloom tomatoes from massive big farmers at big grocery stores instead of $2 tomatoes from a local farmer? You know, we push the prices up, mostly because we're lazy. But we also don't think about it. We don't think about our complicity and our consent in creating a world that's completely unaffordable, especially for the most impoverished adults with children. Ooh, I'm not sure what that is. Shoot your children. What? Shoot your children like arrows, paraphrase Khalil Gibran. Your children are not your children. They pass through you. Oh, yeah, Lori, and I love that. And that's true. That's right. They're not actually your children. You literally are a babysitter. We literally are blessed enough that something passed these powerful creatures through us. But we don't own children. We don't own them. Like Sadhguru said, we just got here first. That doesn't give us any rights over them. They are individual, free-thinking, critical-thinking creatures, and we should be raising them to have their own thoughts in their own minds. We should be raising them to solve their own problems, not giving them our problems and our struggles. They come through us. They don't belong to us. Absolutely. Today's economic climate makes it virtually impossible to foster genuine eye-to-eye relationships, and our ability to parent a holistic manner as woefully hamstrung as a result. Absolutely, Beaufont. There's no question. There is no question. How do you have a society where two parents have to go to work for Rothschild and Rockefeller corporations and give the best hours of their day to massive, greedy corporations and hand the most precious thing that they own, that they have, their children that's coming through them, to babysitters, strangers, daycares? Makes no sense. We are literally designed for failure, Beaumont. We are designed for failure. The prices for everything is so high that it takes two parents. And it's not a mistake, it's by design. We don't value children. If we value children, we value the family home. We value the need to have at least one parent raising children. But that's not what's valued. What's valued in our society is GDP. GDP. That's what's important. And children are no part of GDP. Society against each other will fall. So we need to work on spreading love to even strangers and everyone pass it on. Like in the movie, that was a true story of a little kid who thought of it. A society against each other will fall. Because that's not a society, Joe, I don't think. I think that's like a psychopathic kindergarten. A society that raises children to fight each other. A society that raises children to get more than what the other children have. That can't stand. That is the craziest system I've ever heard in my life. It's based, and outside of the fact, that's it. Except the fact, outside of the fact, that it's a crony capitalist system and none of those children will ever have it all or even close to it all. But it's insane. It's insane. All right, we're about to get out of here. I just wanted to jump in and say, if you were privileged and you had decent parents, Somebody just said, Lori said, you have to pay it forward. Pay it forward. You can pay it all to yourself, or you can pay it forward. You can pay it all to your children, or you can pay it forward to the next generation. But keep in mind that if you pay for it just to your children still have to live in a society of parents who can't pay it forward. And that requires them to do things that you may not like, that your children may not enjoy. That's why I say it takes a village. We all work together. We can raise the next generation and build something beautiful for them. But we keep this conflict world going. And our kids got to live in a world that's based in this psychopathic model of fighting each other. The kid's going to have to fight. And sure, yeah, you can teach him how to shoot better by sending him to a college, get him a better degree. But at the end of the day, is that what you were raised to do? Is that what was handed down from your elders? Is that what your grandparents taught you, your great-grandparents? I suspect not. Mine always taught me that you look out for everybody. I had a grandmother half the time we didn't even know who our family was. We had so many different people around. We had no idea who our family was. I still have to, I go to family reunion, I don't know who's biologically, directly anyway, related. We're all family. But that's what they handed down, because if you had tribes, all the tribes in the past, and I'm gonna go out on a ledge, I think that all the tribes in the past that actually were in conflict within the tribe, raising kids to fight each other, to beat each other out economically, to not work together as a tribe to be strong, I suspect all those tribes went extinct. I suspect they all lost against wiser, smarter tribes that work together and build powerful, empowering environments where they work together as a group as opposed to against each other for their own little individual needs to be superior. That's what I think. Could be wrong, but that's what I think. All right, let me see. The last couple comments and I'll go. Tired. It's been a long day. Been a long slavery weekend. Been working all weekend. But we are privileged. And that was the point of this quick little discussion, quick little talk, is that if you came from a privileged background, you're supposed to be using that privilege. You're supposed to be applying it for the next generation. You're supposed to pay it forward. You're supposed to take all those wise thoughts and all those wise things that your parents did, all those sacrifices, and pay it forward, not just for your children and your grandkids or your nieces or your nephews, but for the planet, because we are an ecosystem and your children must live in that ecosystem. And there are a lot of things we can fix that we just don't fix. We simply choose not to fix because we let go of all the wise things handed down, elder to elder to elder to elder to grandparents and our parents to us, because the television makes us emotional about things that don't matter, because of politics, because of groups and other fantasy tribes that billionaires made in their artificially scarce societies. The commodification of nature by the corporate elite must end. Jane say that 1,000 times. People aren't commodities. Nothing in an ecosystem is a commodity. They're creatures. They're living, thinking, breathing, dynamic things. Children become powerful things when they're parented powerful. And they become monsters when they're not. They become monsters because they're supposed to. When we show the children of the world that our children matter most, not them, they're supposed to adopt that hate. And that hate will manifest itself into the ecosystem, and that's what's supposed to happen. When we are apathetic to the most innocent are supposed to let go of their innocence, and they're supposed to adopt the hatred that we show them. That's why I don't think anybody has 1 kid, 2 kids, 3 kids, 4 or 5. There are 3 billion children on this planet. You got 3 billion children if you got one. Unless you're some sort of a family bigot, unless you're some sort of a apathetic, indifferent person. When you see the innocence and the love in your children's eye, that innocence and love is in every children's eye. An injustice anywhere is an injustice everywhere. See, it's funny how we cheer Martin Luther King and these quotes on certain days, but do we really apply them globally? Do we really apply them across the board? An injustice to a child anywhere, a starving child anywhere, there's a starving child everywhere. And I always go back to Yemen because I can't imagine in 2019 that we still have people and governments that would starve children to death. And what bothers me most is I look in those little kids' eyes and how do you not see your own children? How do you not see, I see us becoming demons because it became popular. Because our friends are, our family, our government tells us that this is what we must do to move forward. We must sell weapons for jobs. We must start wars and kill and bomb weddings because this is the right deal with freedom and security. Where I'm coming from, as a father, if you gotta kill a child to do anything, I'd rather we all be wiped out. I'd rather just wipe us all out. An injustice to one child anywhere is an injustice to every single child everywhere. The kids look for love. They do look for love, Lori, don't they? Wherever they can. Yes, they do. And they find it in groups that are apathetic as we are. In the society we allow to continue. You know, you call them gangs, MS-13, whatever you want to call them. They become us. And I think a lot of times we're just scared to look in the mirror and admit it. So we can have nice things. The sickness of capitalism. I have to agree with you, Lori. I have to agree with you. People prefer shiny things over children having food, water, houses, safety. And we're not going to get anywhere as a species if we don't start to picture the faces of our children and the faces of those that lose their lives for the sake of our privileges. All right, how do you get going? But this is Gerard. You guys, happy Father's Day. Consider if you had a privileged upbringing, if you had the privilege of wonderful parenting or a great father, or you are a father, taking the lessons learned from that parenting process and applying it across the board, completely indifferent. I think that's what parenting is for. I think it was brought about to teach us unconditional love, and that we have to put on everybody's shoes before we judge it. All right, this is Gerard. Gotta get going. Y'all have a great day. Happy Father's Day. I'll see most of y'all in the morning.